All right, we're back at Bloggapalooza 2006, here with Jill Miller-Zimon of Writes Like She Talks, which is at writeslikeshetalks.blogspot.com. Welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. How long have you been blogging now?
I have been blogging exactly 1 year today.
Everybody keeps saying that.
No one's
You're
told
like the
me.
third or fourth person that started that's a year old, but I think a couple of them actually said they started today.
Is that right?
Yeah.
No,
So,
I definitely started today.
How and why did you start blogging?
Well, I'm a freelance writer now, and I wanted a way to make myself sit down. And I felt that the anxiety that I would get from knowing that people might read what I write, even though most likely no one would read what I wrote, would be enough to kind of keep me constrained so I could be focused and write about things that were important, but write in a concise way and not ramble, even though I do still kind of ramble. I think that's a bit of the hallmark of what I write.
But people read your blog. I mean, it's one of the more, at least my impression is, it's one of the more popular, more read blogs. Why do people read what you write?
Well, I can only say what people have said about why they read what I write, but I can tell you why people don't read what I write.
Okay.
Some people do not like the kind of meandering way. It's a writer's blog in the sense that I don't typically just go for the jugular and just say, look what happened, here's the thing, talk amongst yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I usually start, I segue into it usually with something either personal or something that I observed, and then I'll draw a parallel to something that's going on now. Because one of the things that I do the most in my writing is try and make a situation that might seem far away universal, so that everybody can kind of connect with it. I think it's really difficult with so much news happening all the time to filter out what do you really want to know about and what does it mean to me. And that's what I try and do on the blog, is try and help people see how news relates to them.
You don't consider yourself a political blogger, though, right? Because it's not just about politics. I mean, you write a lot about your family, about daily personal stuff.
It's definitely drifted into politics a lot. I haven't looked. I think it's great. I mean, I think it's, for me personally, it's wonderful. That's definitely a part of me that I haven't given voice to very much in the last 20 years or so. I studied government and I worked in the government during college, and I loved it. I was in D.C., but circumstances came up, I just never went back there, and I didn't make that my career. So I miss it. I mean, I like it. I enjoy it very much. So it's fun for me to have a lot of the stuff be political.
You've done how many Meet the Blogger interviews, do you think? Just off the top.
It's got to be somewhere between 10 and 20, I would think.
How did you get started with the Meet the Bloggers group? And what was your first one?
I think my first one was either Eric Fingerhut or Paul Hackett. I'm not positive. I think it was Eric. I think it was Eric's. Well, you were at that one. Do you remember when that was?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, and I'll tell you what. I remember you asking for or they were trying to force you the microphone and you didn't want it.
Yeah, that sounds right. I think that was my first one.
How did you get started it? I mean, did you stumble on, or did you know somebody in the network already?
No, I didn't know anyone.
Just showed up.
Yeah,
Cool.
And that's why when people criticize the blogosphere or complain about it, or they complain about Meet the Bloggers, it doesn't resonate for me, because it doesn't have to be that way. A lot of people describe it as being cliquish, and I think I'm proof that if you're really interested in getting this information out and learning for yourself, it's not. It's you that is putting up the obstruction to not learn more and get involved.
Why do you think more people haven't, especially, I asked George Nemeth this question earlier. We don't see as many conservative bloggers in the Meet the Bloggers network, but it's not because they're excluded or because the topics or the candidates are a specific way. I mean,
that's a question you really need to ask them. It's hard to speculate. If you're asking me to speculate, you've been involved in political campaigns far longer than I have, but if I were asked to speculate, I would say for whatever reason, they feel that their message would get drowned out, or maybe they feel they can't control the message. I think the people who are involved in Meet the Bloggers and the candidates that do it are not afraid for people to hear the raw information. They think it speaks well, and it speaks for itself. And if you're the Republican Party, this is a generalization, but for so many years now, they've been used to certain top-down ways of getting out their platform, the planks on their platform. And Meet the Bloggers totally flies in the face of that, I think. So, like I said, that's just speculating. But
Don,